Well, here it is, what we've been waiting for so long. The first episode of the second season of The Last of Us has finally arrived. Now we can finally find out why critics are praising the continuation of the series so highly and what the creators have changed compared to the game. Jumping ahead, let's say that, aside from jokes about Bella Ramsey, everything maintains the same high standard, though the pacing of the first episode is very slow. But let's dive into the details. Visually, the second season looks just as stunning as the first. It's beautiful, grim, and meticulously transfers many details straight from the game. When it comes to visuals, there's nothing to criticize. The production team clearly worked professionally, on par with a multi-million-dollar blockbuster. Technically, the series remains one of the best today. However, in other aspects, there's a fly in the ointment almost everywhere. Generally, in The Last of Us, you could endlessly watch three things: Pedro Pascal's performance, the makeup of the cordyceps, Infected, and the jokes about the series version of Ellie. The studio could have chosen any other actress for this role, one who more closely resembles the game's heroine in appearance and is equally talented. This would have spared the series from the lion's share of criticism and satisfied millions of fans. It's even funny now that Caitlin Dever, who plays Abby in the new season, looks more like Ellie than Ellie herself. And that's without mentioning Kaylee Spaney, who seems like the perfect candidate for the lead role. It's not that Bella Ramsey is terrible in her role, she's, to put it gently, just different. For those who haven't played The Last of Us, there's no dissonance. They're watching an excellent, expensive, post-apocalyptic series. But gamers are still bothered by how much the studio missed the mark with the casting of the main heroine. At times, it feels like Bella overacts, though this might be subjective. As they say, it is what it is. Even before the release of the second season, Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin stated that the series would differ from the game, and not just through additional scenes or artificially extending the runtime. They were talking about rewriting entire chunks of the plot. The second part of the game was longer and more complex than the first because it told the story not only of Joel and Ellie, more characters appeared, and part of the plot focused on Abby's arc. That's why the show's creators decided even before release to split the game into 2 seasons. The second adapts the first half of the game, and the third will cover the second. But the key word here is adapts. Druckmann has repeatedly said he won't follow the game's plot exactly, even if it angers fans. He's not just adapting the game, but creating a project based on it, incorporating new ideas and elements that didn't make it into the final version of the game. Judging by the first episode, he delivered exactly what he promised. Conceptually, the story follows the game. We're shown ordinary life in Jackson. 5 years have passed since the end of the first season, and Joel and Ellie's relationship has grown strained. Both have settled into the town, made friends, and are occupied with their own lives. Ellie is still haunted by what really happened at the hospital. She also struggles with the thought that her immunity might ultimately mean nothing. Joel, through therapy, tries to sort out his feelings and whether he did the right thing. Their relationship is heavily emphasized in the first episode, which noticeably slows the pacing. Pedro Pascal seems sidelined, while the plot focuses on Ellie. Overall, this makes sense given the game's events, but the first season did the exact opposite, and now Joel's absence is palpable. When dissecting the conflict between the protagonists, the root isn't entirely clear. The script attributes it to overprotectiveness and teenage rebellion. Ellie wants independence, while Joel tries to shield her from danger. But is this reason serious enough for her to avoid him? In the first season's finale, when the Fireflies capture Ellie, they say they'll have to kill her to create a cure for cordyceps. Joel disagrees and kills everyone trying to stop him from saving her. He then lies to her, claiming the cure didn't work. This lie likely fuels their conflict, meaning Ellie learned the truth over the past 5 years. No other explanation fits their tension. The question is how and when this moment will be revealed. Given the looming threat, it will likely be through flashbacks, as trailers are full of scenes set in different seasons. Speaking of danger, it brews in the background with Abby's introduction. Early in the episode, we meet a group of new characters, Fireflies seeking revenge on Joel for the first season's finale. Their role in the first episode ends there, so it's too early to judge the series' version of Abby. At the very least, she appears less physically imposing and more petite, but her resolve is undeniable. The episode ends with the group approaching Jackson. Essentially, this is a loose retelling of the game's first hour, closely recreating many scenes but with plenty of differences. Beyond expanding familiar moments, the key takeaway is the evolution of the infected. During patrol, Ellie and Dina become trapped in a supermarket and encounter several infected. One seems to be a stalker, though with distinct traits. In the game, this type attacks from hiding but hunts in groups. The series takes it further, seemingly granting them greater intelligence. Ellie and Dina report to Jackson's council about the infected strategic thinking, highlighting their evolution. This will clearly lead to greater threats later, but how far the series takes this evolution remains unclear. Also in Season 2, Catherine Hart plays Joel's therapist, a character absent from the original game. During a conversation, she reveals Joel killed her husband, Eugene Linden, a patrolman who owned a farm with illegal crops. In the game, Eugene died of a stroke, but the series frames it as Joel shooting him. The reasons aren't explained, but since Pascal's character isn't imprisoned, it was likely tied to Eugene's infection again, for heightened drama and to portray Joel as cold-blooded and ambiguous. Overall, the premiere is subdued. The characters are still processing the first season's fallout and introspecting. Ellie is also navigating personal relationships, following the game's plot. The story plants hooks for the future but lacks momentum. However, the next episode's teaser promises patience will pay off. Jackson will be attacked by infected, delivering a thrilling spectacle. We'll also meet Ike, one of the game's standout antagonists. Most importantly, Abby and the Fireflies seem poised to achieve their goal. Honestly, this is the biggest concern. If the golf scene happens as early as episode 2, could the series lose viewers? The showrunners promised plot changes, but will they truly follow the game's chronology? There are arguments for and against. Spoilers follow for those unfamiliar with the game's story. If you don't want your experience spoiled, feel free to share your thoughts on Season 2 in the comments now. For everyone else, here are two opposing perspectives. Neil Druckmann has repeatedly stated he'll change the adaptation's plot. This might upset fans, but he believes it will improve the series. The core debate revolves around Joel's death, which in the game occurs 2 hours in and shocked all players. The second episode's teaser suggests events will mirror the game. Abby's group is at the location where the confrontation happens, and Ellie and Dina set out for revenge. Logically, Joel's fate would match the game's happening in episode 2. But let's be honest, if this happens, the series loses its biggest star and, consequently, many viewers' interest. Thus, a second theory emerges, diverging sharply from the game. Abby kills Joel's brother Tommy instead. Several clues support this. First, the writers introduce Tommy's son, making his death more tragic. The family mourns, and the son becomes orphaned. Second, trailers show Tommy only in scenes defending Jackson from infected, implying limited screen time. He likely dies in this arc, not from a bite. Third, the showrunners can't afford to write off Pedro Pascal so soon, given his skyrocketing popularity. This is the change Druckmann hinted at, splitting fans. Some will hate the deviation from the game's impactful drama, while others will rejoice at Joel's survival. His absence is felt, and in this scenario, he'd join Ellie and Dina to avenge Tommy. Which path the creators choose will likely be revealed next week. But knowing Neil Druckmann and his statements, the writers aren't ready to ditch Pascal and leave Bella Ramsey as the sole lead. For HBO, that's too risky a move. For now, share your thoughts in the comments. Will the series follow the game and keep Joel alive to avoid losing viewers? Subscribe to discover new dimensions of your favorite movies and dive into the fascinating world of cinema with us.